For the first time ever with a Charlie Brown cartoon, I cared more about the destination than the journey. It was My Best Birthday Ever, Charlie Brown, which was released in 1997, directed of course by Melendez, written by Charles M. Schulz. And it is Linus's upcoming birthday, and he meets a girl who has the most beautiful singing voice, absolutely stunning voice. And then he invites her to his birthday party. And the whole thing is him wondering if she will show up and whether or not she turns up. And of course, I'm not going to say whether or not she does, but I will, in a moment, with a spoiler warning, talk about what I mean about the journey being better than the destination being better than the journey. And what I mean by this without any spoilers is that usually with Charlie Brown, I just enjoy the cartoon for what it is. It's often cute, quirky, funny, some really brilliant dialogue a lot of the time, but I never really care about the ending. Apart from the one with the spelling bee, usually there's no kind of wonder about where it's going to end up or how it will conclude, with the exception of that one, which I thought was pretty great. But the journey for that one was also enjoyable. This one, I was wondering if she would turn up, and I was very curious to see what would happen with the end of it and the party and what it would be like. But the actual journey to that point, I thought, was not very well executed. It's very slow. It takes about half of the cartoon just for Linus to meet this girl. A lot of it is just shots of him skating with his skates, which, in small doses is fine, but they seem to overdo it. There's a bit of dialogue between Charlie Brown and Sally, but beyond that, I just found the entire thing to be quite flat and not interesting and a really bad pacing. There's a scene in the supermarket that I thought, this is okay, and from that point onwards, it became interesting, but that's really towards the end of it. And ultimately, of course, we have the party, whether or not she turns up, I won't say just now, but the journey to that point I just thought was really boring, and I just didn't really care for it. The singing is gorgeous, definitely, and the quality of the animation visually is obviously very good, but the pacing of it, the way it's edited, I thought it was a bit of a weak link compared to the average Charlie Brown cartoon. So, a spoiler from now, I'll discuss what happens at the end. At the end, she kind of turns up to the party, not really, but she is also there. But just seeing how happy Linus was, it was just beautiful and made it all so worth it. And I really enjoyed that destination. I've never really felt that elated at the end of a Charlie Brown cartoon. There have been a couple of times where I felt, really satisfied with the ending, but the journeys have also always been brilliant. This one, it kind of made it all worthwhile because it was a really, really great, satisfying ending. And then Woodstock, it's the only time I've ever cared for Woodstock's involvement in an animation. What Woodstock brought to it at the end, it's the only time ever I have cared about Woodstock as a character. So actually, it was a very, very different experience for me compared to the average Charlie Brown cartoon. Had this been the first Charlie Brown cartoon I'd seen, I might not have stuck with them. I mean, I probably would have watched the Christmas ones and the Halloween and Thanksgiving ones, but generally I probably wouldn't have fallen in love with them the way that I have. So I'm thinking that this is a weak link for me personally. I think there's definitely room for improvement. If you're a Charlie Brown fan, it's worth watching, but if you've never seen Charlie Brown, don't make this the first one you see.